Hello everyone. Today I'm going to walk you through a full body stretching routine, which will include all of my favorite stretches, tackling upper body, lower body, lateral, anterior, medial, and posterior aspect of the thighs. And of course, in a very special location, I'm in a park in Rome where I usually take my dog, and I thought it was a perfect spot to do this. Without further ado, let's get started. You will need some yoga blocks if you have them, otherwise don't worry, it's not necessary. To start with, let's do some neck stretches. Every exercise will be done for 2 rounds and held for approximately 30 seconds. Again, on the other side. This time, let's also try and bring the opposite shoulder down. This will further enhance the stretch. First side. This time we can grab our head and we can push our head into the hand while pulling down the opposite shoulder. Great. You might hear some clicks. I like to do stretching routines in the evening because they're more relaxing by definition compared to mobility, which I prefer doing in the morning or before training. Great. Now that we've done the neck, let's move to the upper back, to our lats. Here you can use the blocks, but you can also skip the blocks and put your hands on the ground. And I just want to do a cat stretch, trying to open up your shoulders and pressing down with your chest. Hold this for, again, 30 seconds. Stretching is supposed to be more effective, according to studies, when it's not painful and it's slightly itchy or slightly intense. Great. And now we can also bring our hands a bit more to the side. This will work the lateral aspect of the lat a bit more intensely. Then slowly walk your hands onto the other side, this way. You should be careful not to exaggerate and decide how much to shift your hands laterally. Great. Can repeat that once more. And another concept about stretching that I think is very interesting, pointed out by my coach, is that I used to do stretching a lot in the post-training, immediate post-training, but apparently my coach taught me that it can be counterproductive after training when the muscle is sore, because stretching is another muscle contraction by definition. And therefore, stretching sessions like this one should be separate to trainings. They can over fatigue muscles, let's say, if they're done straight after the training. Side to side. And therefore, after training, I prefer a very light stretch that is a bit antalgic, but nothing excessive. And then the other side. Great. Now that we're in this position, let's go and work the shoulders and pass your arm under the other and start pressing gently on your shoulder. This should stretch your posterior shoulder capsule. You can even try placing a block underneath this way. Again, this is a vulnerable position for body, so be gentle, please. Now let's repeat to the other side. Another interesting concept about stretching is the possibility of doing stretching actually before bed. I personally don't like to do it if I've eaten too much or it's too close to my dinner, but I know friends who find it very positive for sleeping because, of course, by activating the parasympathetic system, stretching can help you relax into the night and sleep better. Many of these stretches I've learned throughout the years, my coaches, but also, again, as I said in the mobility video, one of my greatest inspirations is Tom Merrick. You can look him on YouTube and he's just recorded tons of mobility and stretching videos. Great. Now I think the upper body is pretty much done, and let's go and work the lower body. Let's start with the hip flexors, which are one of the most tight areas in the body due to our sedentary lifestyle. So let's bring one foot forward, keep our torso straight, and slowly sink into the stretch. We can also lift one of our arms and shift laterally. This will stretch a bit of our lats again. From here you can also bring your foot a bit laterally, push your knee outwards into a hip external rotation and try and sink the hip. We'll wiggle about. This is more of a dynamic stretch to, let's say, disentangle the posterior chain and in general loosen up the body. Now let's switch it up. Hopefully I won't get bitten by any bees here. This is the price you pay to be in nature. You're more exposed to animals. Beautiful animals. Again, push your knee outwards, try and sink in with your hips. Great. Now, this works, let's say, the anterior aspect of our thighs. You can do another round if you wish. For completeness sake, I will move on to the next one and show you a 90-90 glute stretch. What we want to do is place our knees at 90 degrees and then slowly bring our chest toward our knees. While we do this, we can think of pressing the knee into the ground for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then sink a bit deeper. When we do this, we trick our brain into, let's say, going deeper into the stretch. It's a particular technique that involves contracting the muscle and then releasing it. Move to the other side. This time we will do the same trick, but pushing the foot towards the hand instead of the knee towards the floor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we sink deeper. You choose a variation that you prefer. I like this one better, honestly. Then, as you progress with time, what we can do is put a block under your knee if you have it. Otherwise, you can repeat the same. And instead of keeping both legs at 90 degrees, you just use the front one at 90 degrees. And you go into a sort of pigeon pose. And here, the activation of the glute is much stronger. And we can also try to look towards our knee, or in other words, point our eyes by rounding our shoulders. I'm looking externally. Great. Go to the other side. Cool. Now we've worked the anterior aspect of our thighs. We've worked our lateral aspects, or glutes, and let's move into the abductor, so the inner aspect, the more medial aspect. Again, if you have a block, you can use it to elevate your bum, quite comfortable. And then if you have an elastic band, that could be useful as well. Put it around your foot and start pulling while crossing your other arm under. This is such a beautiful stretch. It basically pulls, again, this area here to the lateral. So nice, especially if you've been sitting down like a long time during the day. The more your pancakes are good or tasty, the more easy this position will be. If you can't sit comfortably without a block, I'll show you a variation in a moment. Okay. From here, you can grab your ankles and pull yourself down. Or if you have something in front of you, you can grab it and pull down. Luckily, the sun is coming down and it's not as hot. It's been hitting around 38 degrees today in Rome. And the other variation I was talking about was basically standing up, going to a comfortable width, grabbing your ankles and putting yourself down like this. Great. Now, posterior aspect of our thighs or hamstrings. This variation by Tom Merrick is so cool. What you do is grab under your legs like this, as if you wanted to hug your thighs. Then press your heels on the ground for 5 seconds. Again, the technique I mentioned before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then shift your bum posteriorly. This is basically stretching out your lower back. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the way, if you hear some background noise, these are the famous cicale in Italian. I don't know if they're more annoying or relaxing. You can tell me in the comments. And now that we've kind of eased ourselves into the position, we straighten our legs, touch our toes, grab our toes, or if you can't reach them, your ankles, and pull yourself. I'm gonna do another round of that, but while we rest a second, bring your bum forward, your shoulders in extension like this, and try to open up your chest. This is the opposite movement, let's say. Wiggle about if you want. Okay. You can go straight into the forward fold. Not afraid of bees anymore. I got bitten while riding. I was sprinting at max speed and then my forearm got bitten, and from that point on I was like, okay, not that big of a deal. Stay chilled with bees. Honey is good. Okay. Now let's go and work the antagonist of the hamstrings, which are the quads. And what I want to do is bring one leg to the side, grab opposite hand and feet, extend the arm, which is homolateral to the knee you're flexing, and then press your hips to the ground while simultaneously pulling your foot to your glutes. You'll find that if you push your hips to the ground, the stretching is so intense. You can also try and reach forward with your arms. I do this because it kind of emulates a bit the swimming movement. And yeah, lately I've been swimming a lot. Otherwise, okay, great. Now that the quads are done, we exploit this position and we do a torso twist to open up our back. So we're going back to the upper body, but the position is quite convenient. It's also called the scorpion roll, if you will. So basically twist your foot to one side and while keeping the elbow at 90 degrees, stretch your back. Again, be gentle. Other side, we can also extend the arm a bit and find the degree of flexion of the elbow that is more comfortable for you or you feel needs more stretching. Opening up the I mean, stretching the pec is one of the best exercises also for posture. We're nearly done, and it's nearly sunset time as well. Great. From this position, let's go into a cobra pose or upward dog. Wiggle about, kind of compensates for the flexing exercises we just done. We can also do the Camel pose, which is awesome, or the hero pose. Put your hands on your heels, go back, and push your hips as if you wanted to do a hip thrust. And also doing a scapular retraction. So trying to bring your shoulders backwards can open up your chest. This is so great for the posture. Let your head go down. If you can't do this, another variation is putting the block behind between your glutes and your feet, and then your hands on the ground and pressing with your chest upward. Cool. Then to end, the famous child pose. But the way I like to do it is use a block again. Use two blocks. One under the bum, and the other one under the forehead. And let's stay here for a minute or something, relaxing our jaw muscles. The jaws are one of the most tensed muscles during the night when we're stressed. And by letting our weight drop onto our forehead and relaxing our eyes and our jaws can be very beneficial, especially when we're at the computer. All the face muscles are so tensed up. Less stress, more stretch. In conclusion, I don't know if stretching is actually so necessary. For sure, mobility is more important in my opinion, being able to move and warm up our body before exercising. But honestly, I enjoy it. Calms me down. It unwinds me when I get back home in the evenings. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed it, and leave some comments below. There'll be other videos coming soon. Spoiler, recovery routine, and also a routine for treating the TFL syndrome, which is inflammation of the lateral tensor fascia lata in runners and cyclists. And yeah, have a great evening.